And hello, I'm Andrew Rickson, and we've got Bob Dick on the call here. Hi, Bob. And
Hi, Andrew.
Bob and I have been having a series of pop-up conversations, and each time we are talking about really the connection between open space and action learning. And today, the quote that we're sort of kickstarting off by is one from Bob himself, which I nicked. And Bob's quote is, "In a change program, wherever I start is the wrong place." Bob, could you tell us a little bit more about where that quote comes from?
Story of my life, Andrew. Or at least ever since I started doing change work, particularly working as an external consultant, I don't know enough at the beginning of a change program to know where to start. And so my approach to change has had to be to start in such a way that it doesn't matter where I start, I still finish up somewhere worthwhile.
Yeah.
Why did you choose this as one of the programs one of the quotes that you nominated?
Well, I love this quote because it's very affirming, I think, as a quote, to know that you're actually in the wrong place, and a lot of the work that I've done, there's no way I could assume I'm even in the right place. So it's quite helpful, and especially like with open space technology, one of the approaches or the way it starts really is by working out what is the theme, what is the question that sits around the piece of work or the program or initiative. And I find that there's no way I could ever guess what that theme or question is. And so, in a way, I think that approach that Open Space has around asking a question and working with your client sponsors, etc., to identify what is the question, in some ways helps to work out, well, what is the right place to start? But even then, you can't be sure because you send out the invitation, you've got a particular question that sort of forms the basis of the Open Space initiative, and then people will respond on the day with the things that they care about, and that may be somewhat tangential to the big theme, but it is certainly what people care about. So there's surprises all around.
Yes, I spent a day with Viv Reed last week, and part of the time was looking at Dave Snowden's models of complexity, and that really brought home to me that most of us who have a university education have been taught to take a reductionist view to things and to assume that once we figure out the causes of what's going on, we can then work out what to do about those causes. And one of the key principles, as I understand it, if you're working in genuinely complex situations, is that taking a causal approach is much less useful because almost everything affects almost everything else. The best you can do is to embark on a program of data-informed trial and error, which is a very different mindset, I think, to assuming that you can figure things out and then do them.
And that's kind of the basis of action learning in a way, isn't it? Exploring your ignorance, exploring the questions, inviting to others to think about how things are going and how things aren't going.
That's right. And so the intention of action learning, if it's the style of action learning where one of the members of the project team presents a problem, other people don't present solutions because that assumes that they know the right place to start. What they do is stir up their curiosity and ask questions which open up new perspectives for the person who has the problem. And again, the intention is for that person to go back with a better understanding, but then work in a trial and error way to figure out how to get things to happen.
That's great, and that's our pop-up convo starter for this week. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Andrew.